Well, as people keep coming on and stuff, we are recording. My name is Jacob Dennis, and my pronouns are he, him. I am the Midwest Grassroots Manager for the American Heart Association. So I just have the honor just to kind of kick this off to our wonderful presenters this evening who know way more than me and are way more elegant in speaking than I am. So with that, and keeping in mind everyone's time tonight, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our first speaker, Erica Williams. Erica, if you want to come on camera and kick us off, I would appreciate it. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you, Jacob, and thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about this partnership between the Red Circle, American Heart Association, and others. So on behalf of a Red Circle and American Heart Association, I welcome you to the Serve Kids Better St. Louis Call to Action Kickoff Action, where we will be exploring the health impacts of sugary drinks and what we can do to support a healthier St. Louis. Feel free to use the chat box to drop in questions throughout the presentation. A little bit about me. I am the founder and executive director of A Red Circle, which is a nonprofit organization in North St. Louis County. We promote community betterment through a racial equity lens. And we are working on things like healthy food access and education justice, which is why I'm so excited about this campaign, because sugar and the results of too much sugar in the body impact both of those. It impacts our health, it impacts a child's ability to learn and comprehend. And we know that, within our region, we have a lot of stores that do not have the most healthy foods. And so if there's anything that we can do at A Red Circle to combat healthy food, promote healthy food and combat, things that are bad for us, we are here to do that. So we are here to work with the American Heart Association and the Center for Science in the Public Interest to help get the people in the community involved in this campaign. We know that parents, moms, dad, grandmas are really concerned about the amount of sugar their kids are getting. And so, they want to know what they can do and how they can have a voice in this type of work. So that's why we're here at A Red Circle. And so now I'm going to take a minute to introduce Dr. Hooks Anderson, our speaker for the evening. Dr. Hooks Anderson is a board-certified family physician whose research interests include preventative medicine and the elimination of health disparities. So right along the lines of what A Red Circle is doing. Her passion is fueled by her strong desire to improve healthcare for minority, disadvantaged, and marginalized communities. Her philosophy is simple: treat all people with respect, compassion, and love. She is a graduate of Jackson State University, the University of Iowa College of Medicine, and the Lincoln Family Medicine Residency Program in Lincoln, Nebraska. Her past work experiences have included community medicine and private practice. She is currently an associate professor at St. Louis University School of Medicine in the Department of Family and Community Medicine, and she also serves as the interim assistant dean of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Dr. Hooks Anderson is heavily involved in the community with presentations and other volunteer activities. She presently serves as the medical editor of the St. Louis American newspaper and the president of the board of directors of the St. Louis affiliate of the American Heart Association. She is also the past president of Mound City Medical Forum, the local chapter of the National Medical Association. Dr. Hooks Anderson is the recipient of numerous awards, including the Donald Brennan Humanitarian Award. She is married to Dr. Ronaldo Anderson, an associate professor at Temple University, and the mother of two beautiful daughters, ages 21 and 14. Welcome, Dr. Hooks Anderson. And I was so thrilled to be able to introduce you, to learn all that amazing stuff about you. So welcome, and I will give you the floor.
Erica, thank you so much for those warm words. Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Thursday evening with us. It is my pleasure to be here with you on this panel with these wonderful, wonderful speakers this evening. At the American Heart Association, our mission is to be a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives. I am proud to be a part of this organization, an organization who believes that every person deserves an opportunity to live a full, healthy life. Heart disease, as many of you probably know already, is the #1 killer of all Americans. And stroke is the leading cause of disability. As a family physician here in St. Louis, I see these effects of these diseases like hypertension and type 2 diabetes on a regular basis. Unfortunately, I'm also starting to see it in my babies, my younger kids. So this, when you think about it, you used to think about diabetes and type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure being a disease of older people. But I can tell you that I am starting to see more and more young people with high blood pressure. Literally in this past year, I've had to send several of them to kidney specialists to start the workup of their horribly uncontrolled hypertension. I'm talking 16 and even a 14-year-old with blood pressure that's like 150/90 or 160/100. I'm seeing increased rates of obesity. And it's concerning because if you think about it, if you are starting to have these types of diseases this young, what's going to happen, when you are 50, 60, 70 years old? Your poor hearts, your kidneys can only take so much. And so this is what we're seeing now, even at a young age. So how do we make sure that these stories aren't everyone's stories? How do we prevent being unhealthy from becoming the norm? As a community, we start making the healthy choice, the easy choice, and that begins with our kids and reducing sugary drink consumption. And let's be clear. I mean, they're natural sugars, and when I talk about natural sugars, we're talking about the sugars that are found in fruits and vegetables, milk and grains. But the other sugars, the kind that are added to foods and drinks and condiments during processing, they can increase your risk of heart disease. And these added sugars, they sneak into those drinks that you think are good for you. So when we say sugary drinks, we're not just talking about soda. And a lot of people think that. They think that, oh, I don't drink soda, but they drink a whole bunch of Powerade or Gatorade or lemonade, not realizing it's still sugar. And we're even talking about sweet tea. I mean, and you can see that on the menu at a lot of places now. And I see people leaving these restaurants with big gulps of sweet tea. But this added sugars in our American diet is producing 5% of the overall caloric intake. So I'm going to ask the quick questions. You didn't know that you were going to take a test tonight, but you do, you have one. And so you see it over in your pane there. It's a quick poll. How many teaspoons of sugar are in a sports drink? Let's see what kind of answers we get out there. Looks like the majority of you think that it's 9 teaspoons. Some of you, one of you thinks that it's 6. Well, the answer is 4 teaspoons. And so that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. And did you know that in sweet tea and soda, there's 6 teaspoons of sugar? So again, that's a lot of sugar. And if you think about lemonade, it's even more at 7. So again, you're thinking that you're doing, okay, but not realizing how much sugar is sneaking into your diet in just a beverage. And while some people know that sugary drinks, particular soda, are not good for them, they may not realize the extent of the harmful health outcomes associated with these other products. Sugary drinks are a major contributor to the increasing rates of type 2 diabetes, as I mentioned before, tooth decay, and heart disease. These diseases set up in children for a lifetime of health challenges. And it has a disproportionate impact on Black and Latino families and increase the risk of severe illness from COVID-19. So just a few quick facts for you this evening, just to kind of get us thinking about this for a while. Nearly 2/3 of youth living in the US consume a sugary drink daily. That's almost all of them. That's a huge number. The average child consumes 30 gallons of sugary drinks every year. And I'm just interested to see what you think about this. How much sugar do you think that is? Just put it in the chat. Like, how much sugar do you think 30 gallons is? I'm just interested to see what you have to say. We want this to be interactive. Just to tell you, that's enough sugar to fill up an entire bathtub. Can you imagine that that's what our kids on a yearly basis, a bathtub full of sugar? And when you think of it that way, that's really gross. There's no easy way to say that. That's a lot of sugar. So again, without change, 40% of children will likely develop type 2 diabetes. People living with type 2 diabetes are 2 times more likely to develop and die from cardiovascular disease. A 2015 review found that increasing sugar drink consumption by 1 serving per day increased the risk of hypertension by 8% and the risk of heart disease by 17%. And guys, this is a health equity issue. In 2018, beverage companies spent over $1 billion in advertising for sugary beverages. Companies, they continue to target Black and Hispanic youth with TV ads. We know that Black teens saw 2.3 times as many ads for sugary drinks as white teens. Companies spent $84 million to advertise sugary drinks on Spanish language TV. That is so much money. Think about what we could do with that type of income and reducing health disparities in our communities. So knowing this information, why kids' meals and why now? So COVID-19 has magnified the inequities in our community related to health outcomes, access to care, access to healthy foods. So now is the perfect time to put in place policies to address access to healthy foods and build back better. We all live very busy lives, juggling schedules, sports, school, work, and sometimes this means we opt for eating out more than cooking in. I often say to my daughter when we're driving around, I'm like, doesn't anyone cook anymore? Because when you pass by these fast food restaurants, the lines are always very long. It's as if we don't cook as much as we used to. And when our kids are eating out, they consume more sugary beverages. And this puts our kids at risk for those chronic diseases that we discussed earlier. So I'm excited about the impact we can have working on this issue together. On behalf of the American Heart Association Metro Board of Directors, thank you for being a part of the solution and the change for better health in our community. I will now introduce our next speaker, Ms. Stephanie Moss. Stephanie is a registered nurse by vocation with 25 years in healthcare and 23 years of experience as a clinician. Her most recent accomplishment is being awarded the Adult Gerontological Acute Care Nurse Practitioner Specialization degree. She is a Doctor of Nursing practice student with a research and practice focus on uncontrolled high blood pressure. Stephanie has provided leadership, consultation, quality management, and enhancement in skill, acute care, and community settings in the area of organizational development, policy and procedure writings, review, implementation, regulatory compliance, and training, case management, occupational health and workman's compensation, nursing care in various clinical, community, and public health settings. Her most valuable experience in the clinical setting includes, but is not limited to, medical telemetry, cardiac, critical, and intensive care, corrections, behavioral and women's health, and most recently, COVID intensive care. She has previously served as an on-call sexual assault nurse examiner in the greater Kansas City area. Stephanie has worked extensively with the Missouri Department of Mental Health Division of Developmental Disabilities, Health Identification Planning, System Planning, organizing, directing, and providing quality management for participants of the community-based Medicaid waiver program. She was also instrumental in writing, implementing, and providing training for the Missouri DD Community RM program. She now resides in the St. Louis area and serves as a member of the American Heart Association's Missouri State Advocacy Committee. Stephanie, take it away.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Hooks Anderson. As a parent, healthcare worker, and Heart Association advocate, I am excited to be here with you today to talk about how this initiative can impact our community. The Serve Kids Better Task Force is working on a unified strategy across the St. Louis region to promote the health of kids. So ensuring healthier drink choices are the first choice when the kids order a meal at a St. Louis restaurant. So we can take a simple step to promote healthy choices and to help kids grow up at a healthy weight by removing sugary drinks as a default option on kids' meals here in the St. Louis City and St. Louis County. So one of the things that we can do, we can talk to our local restaurant owners and asking our decision makers to pass policies that ensure restaurants serve kids better to reduce the health disparities outlined by Dr. Hooks Anderson. And so the American Heart Association, of course, have a couple recommendations. And the first one would be children under the age of 2 have no added sugars in their diets, and that includes food and drinks. And then another recommendation is children and teens have less than 6 teaspoons of added sugar a day and no more than 8 ounces of sugary drinks per week. So with those recommendations in mind, if the city and county take action, anytime our families go out to a restaurant that has a designated kids meal, the drink that comes with that will be water, milk, or juice. So you might ask, is the government telling restaurants what goes on the menu? Well, the Healthy Default Drinks policy is meant to support families looking for healthy options and not an attempt to legislate or regulate what restaurants serve. Restaurants can choose which healthy beverage options they include with the meal if they choose to have a kids meal or a kids meal with the beverage. And then parents could still choose to order whatever drink they'd like for their child off the menu. But of course, data shows that by providing healthy defaults, more parents and kids will choose a healthy drink. So what happens with our community on a greater impact? What will affect the corner stores? This policy does not in any way affect retail businesses, including convenience stores. Only restaurants that serve kids' meals within the St. Louis County and St. Louis City would be affected. And then probably a number one question would be, what is the financial responsibility? Will this be expensive for restaurants? The policy does not represent an additional cost to restaurants. Many have already have a variety of drinks on their menus, and they retain the ability to choose which healthy drinks they'll offer kids on the menu. And of course, water is a healthy, low-cost option that satisfies the requirements of the policy. So let's take a step to promote healthy kids here in the community and support family choice. Join our efforts by visiting our website, shown on the screen. It's on there already, but I can give the website information, and it's www.you'retheCure.org/serve_kids_better_STL. And then another option is text, and that's MO, capital MO, to 46893 to receive alerts and information regarding this initiative. And if I need to repeat the website, I can, but thank you so much for spending your time with us to learn how to support a healthier St. Louis. And feel free to drop any questions you may have in the chat box. We'll answer those. Have a great evening, everyone.